Hi, Kerry again with Best of Us Investors. If you haven't been to my channel before, I'm interested in the future. I'm interested in the stocks that are going to change the way I live. You might say I'm in Kathy Wood's camp, but I'm not an ETF, so I'm not subjected to some of the issues that she has with redemptions and having to liquidate. So what I look for, though, is those stocks, those companies that are going to change the way I live and that are out in front. Because I believe the way to make money in the stock market is to recognize undervalued assets before the market recognizes they even exist. And that means you do a lot of research and you do a lot of reading and you discover. And that's why I'm very heavy into biotech right now. And I believe in the next 18 months, we're going to see a surge. So then I was contacted recently by a company that says, we've got something that might be of benefit to you and your investors. And what they basically are offering me is what happened in 1977 when Sheila Clark of the Kilobrod magazine went down to Texas and met with two guys in a garage, and they both happened to be named Steve, and they talked about a small company that they were starting called Apple Computer Company. This is a picture that appeared in that magazine of the two Steves. And what you learned in that article was these two guys had a wild idea about how to tap into this new thing called the World Wide Web and how do you give you access to it. And that was the birth of Apple. Well, what if, I love to work in what ifs, what if you had read that magazine article and you watched it and you waited for them to IPO, and when they did in 1982, you invested $10,000 and then you forgot about it, okay? Look at this Excel spreadsheet I created, and you'll see that your $10,000 went up and down and had some good years and some bad years, but today it's worth somewhere around $18 million. You didn't add anything to it. It was just $10,000 that turned into $18 million. Well, what if you didn't have $10,000 and you only put $1,000 in it? Well, then you'd only have $1.8 million today. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for, a way to find these two Steves of 2022. And that's what this video is about. And I was contacted, as I said, by a company by the name of Disruptor, Dizraptor, who has a YouTube channel, and I want to tell you about it. And I want to show you my interpretation of it and where I think it's going and how you might be able to make some better investment decisions somewhere down the road. Be right back. I'm not your financial advisor.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
So Disruptor is a group of young people who basically go out and do what Sheila Clark did in 1977, but they do it in the digital revolution or part of the digital economy. They don't have a magazine. They have a YouTube channel. They only have 6 channels or 6 videos up at this time, 6 companies that they've looked at, and they only have about 6 subscribers to it. So you are going to be the very early exposure to this YouTube channel. And what they do is go create a very high-class video that explains the sector that this new company is in, and then they dig into the company, introduce you to the founders, introduce you to the employees, and then introduce you to the possibilities that the company may have in the future. So let's go and take a look at a company called H2O, who are involved in an area that I'm very interested in, and that's artificial intelligence. Let's take a look. This is the website, or excuse me, the YouTube channel I was talking to you about, Disruptor. And as you can see, they only have 6 subscribers. They do have 6 videos that they have put out, and each one of these videos covers the development of a segment and then a specific company. And what I want to do is take you to this one on artificial intelligence. And as I say, it's on artificial intelligence. And it goes through some quotes, some explanation of artificial intelligence, and gives you something of a background to understanding artificial intelligence. But you can come and see this. What I want to do is take you to where they get into the company that they're going to be talking about. Okay, it's H2O AI.
Will begin its growth as an open source product and soon brought together a huge number of engineers that work with their tools. They get hooked on H2O AI, and as soon as they get in on the process, they can't stop using the intuitive tools. Today, if a company hires a machine learning engineer or data scientist, each candidate is likely to hear this question: can you use H2O? So H2O became a household name. Data scientists and ML engineers can't get by without its tools, to the same degree that every living thing on this planet can't survive without water. Often, companies that promote open source bring in specialists that help convert their knowledge into business growth for the company. And H2O has had huge success with it. It created a community with over 6 million members, a platform called Kaggle, where AI coders compete on the projects. Those who rank first on the Kaggle competition leaderboard get a job at H2O. In autumn 2019, the company had 13 employees with the Kaggle Grandmaster title, out of 205 experts in artificial intelligence. The company was founded in Silicon Valley in 2012. Founders Cliff Click, Sri Satish Ambati. Several years into its development, H2O had built a stellar reputation and had the world's best engineers on the team. But so far, this is just a bunch of nice guys who got together. Where are the business results? Where is the profit? H2O tapped into its key advantage: the best engineering talent to offer solutions to the problems of other organizations. And they were an instant success. But this was still a one-piece product. They didn't have enough people to scale. Then they developed a platform that takes care of the majority of routine tasks, and specialists join the process mostly to implement the platform. They call it sparkling water. I like metaphors and names. It reads like you can't survive without still water, and you can't do without sparkling water if you want to have a tasty cocktail. In autumn 2019, H2O had 132 big corporate customers, including Cisco, Intel, PwC, PayPal, Wells Fargo, and Booking.com. H2O was named in CB Insight's list of the most innovative artificial intelligence startups and was named in Analytics Insight's list of the top 100 artificial companies in the world. H2O owes all this success to their ability to solve problems. Now it is a disruptive force across markets, like Thales and the Rothschilds once were.
Okay, that gives you kind of a feel for what this YouTube channel is all about and how it gives you that inside look that we got back in 1977 by Celia Clark writing a story about the two Steves that turned into Apple Computer Corporation and gave an insight before the rest of the world knew about it. If you saw, I think they had about 6 subscribers. So this is what I'm showing you is something that the rest of the world doesn't know anything about. The rest of the world hasn't read, if you will get my metaphor, the 1977 article on Apple, and this is that same opportunity on H2O. Now the reality is this is not a public company. and you can't buy shares in it unless you're an accredited investor, and that means that you have a net worth of over $1 million and you had an income the last 3 years of over $200,000. But where this is going is this company is now going to create an app that individuals can get more information on H2O and a number of other companies, and they will be able to buy into those companies that that are being featured here. And this is how they will, rather than create a magazine, what was the name of that? Kilobrod magazine in 1977. I see this as a way for you to cue into what's coming. What I'm going to suggest is you go to their website, Disruptor. And they have a website and a YouTube channel, and watch these YouTubes. Watch them and get a feel for what they're doing. Now understand, this is at the high level of risk of an investment. But as I have told you very early on in my means of investing, is the key is to find the Steve Jobs and the Steve Wozniak of 1977 and the Bill Gates and the Steve Allen of about the same era, and recognize that they are a leader in their field, and then do additional research. Get in and find out if what Disruptor is telling you is true, and then being in a position, if you're not an accredited investor, to be aware of it, put it on your watch list, and make yourself aware of there's a company out there called H2O who is the leader in development of artificial intelligence within the community. That's what this is all about. Now, next week, I will be giving you an insight on their app that they have available. But that'll come next week. I want to work with it for a bit of time and come to a better understanding, and we'll talk about that next week. But this is one of those, I talk a lot about putting a tool in your toolbox so that you can make better investment decisions. I think this is one of the tools, the Disruptor YouTube channel, that you can, at your leisure, learn about some new players in some new industries. Okay, I think that's exciting. And how did I discover this? They reached out to me. Disruptor reached out to me and said, Kerry, we recognize that your audience is people who are looking for investment opportunities in the future. Would you help us put our videos in front of them? And I looked at it. I researched the organization. They appear to be legitimate. And I liked the quality of their presentation. And so I agreed for a sponsored fee to go ahead and share with you so that you can make an informed decision. Now, the other part of what they have is an app. And the app is more in-depth. And in fact, on the app, it gives you the ability to invest in these companies before the IPO. Now, I am going to dig even deeper into their app over the next week, and I will do a video next week that will explore their app. Now, what I want to be very clear about is that the stock market is risky. You are betting that everything that is told you is true, and that the analysis that you do will give you a good decision. This is even riskier because this is before everything has been cleared by the governmental institutions that, in essence, give us some security. So I want you to recognize that up front. But at the same time, what I want to do is put tools in your tool chest. You're an investor. I think of myself as a professional investor. Much as if I were a dentist or a doctor, I would have tools that help me do my work. In addition to that, I would educate myself. I would research new information. Part of what you do to research new information is come to YouTube channels like this. And then you take that information and you interpret it and you make good decisions. What I hope you also do is read books. If you're going to invest in artificial intelligence, I would suggest you read this book here, The Age of AI and Our Human Future. It will give you some information about AI. If you add that to what you just saw, maybe you can make a good investment decision. But I want to just emphasize it's high risk. I'll also emphasize, once we look at the app, this is for accredited investors. You cannot invest in these companies until they're listed, and this is government regulation, unless you're an accredited investor. What is an accredited investor? It's someone who has a net worth of over $1 million of investable assets and has had an income of $200,000 a year for the last 2 or 3 years and can prove it. So those are the parameters. If you don't qualify for that, nonetheless, I would encourage you to make this channel, Disruptor, a part of your tool chest to keep you aware of what's happening and who's going to be involved in the future so that you can make good investment decisions. Okay, I think this is fun. Again, and I think it's fun because I relate back to it of 1977 when Sheila Clark introduced a small part of the world to a small company called Apple Computer Company. And I think it's so cool that you can go to this channel and you can see that before you look at any of those videos, look at how many people have been there before you. And you're going to see it's a very small number. So you are getting information that Wall Street doesn't even have, okay? That's part of what I want to bring you. That's what part of the tribe is all about. If you haven't read this book, this is a book that is written by myself and Colin George. It's available in the description, and it's about the concept of a tribe. It's about taking the digital revolution and adapting it to the purchasing of stocks on the internet. I can remember my dad back in, I would guess in the 50s, he took me down to, I don't know what office it was, but it had a ticker tape, and he sat down on a desk and he wrote a check to buy some shares of stock. He even bought me some beech nut stock, and we had to come back 2 weeks later and pick up the certificate to take ownership of that beech nut chewing gum stock. When we wanted to sell it, we had to bring the certificate back, sign it over, come back a week later and pick up our money. That's how the world has changed. Now I can buy a stock like that and I never have a certificate. I have instant ownership, but that's how the world has changed. And that's what the tribe is all about. It wasn't just my dad and I. Now it's 2,000 people that we get together on a daily basis and discuss the stock market and share our knowledge. I only bought that beech nut chewing gum because I like chewing gum. I don't chew gum anymore, so I don't own any Wrigley's or whatever. But this is the world that is available to you. I want you to look at Disruptor YouTube channel, and next week I'll talk to you about their app. So I'm not your financial advisor, but I sure would like to be your friend. Come to Best of Us Investors and sign up. Give me your name and your email address, and I'll give you an invitation to our Discord. Talk to you again tomorrow.